The council chamber of the Galactic Consul hung in the void like a crystal crown, its transparent walls offering an unobstructed view of the spiraling nebula beyond. 7 species had gathered here today, their representatives seated in a semicircle of bioluminescent chairs that adjusted to each alien physiology. At the center stood Consul Varintal, his elongated form draped in robes that shimmered with the authority of 1,000 conquered worlds. Admiral Jason Trent stood alone before them. He wore no ceremonial armor, carried no weapons, and requested no honor guard. The simplicity of his dark uniform stood in stark contrast to the elaborate displays surrounding him. His gray eyes surveyed the council with a calm assessment of a man who had seen far worse than alien bureaucrats. The human delegation consists of 1 individual. Varintal's translator rendered his clicking speech into standard galactic. Amusement rippled through his vocal sacs. Your species continues to surprise us with your efficiency. 1 is all you need, Trent replied, his voice carrying clearly in the vast chamber. I'm here to deliver a message, not negotiate. The consul's optical stalk swiveled, focusing multiple eyes on the human. Around the chamber, representatives from 6 other species leaned forward with varying degrees of curiosity and disdain. Humanity was the newest addition to the galactic community, discovered only 15 cycles ago. They were primitive, aggressive, and disturbingly adaptable. A message? Varintal's tone shifted, the universal translator capturing his condescension perfectly. We summoned Earth to answer for violations of the colonization accords. Your species has been expanding beyond your designated sectors. You have militarized 12 systems without authorization. I'm aware of the charges, Trent interrupted. The audacity of it sent a shock through the chamber. 1 did not interrupt the consul. That's not why I'm here. Varintal's skin flushed a deep purple, a sign of irritation in his species. Then enlighten us, human. Why does Earth send a military commander instead of a diplomat? Trent's expression remained unchanged, but something in his eyes hardened. Because diplomats negotiate. I'm here to warn you. Silence fell like a guillotine blade. The consul's translator worked furiously to ensure it had processed the words correctly. Warn? A species barely capable of faster-than-light travel was warning the Galactic Consul? Warn us? Varintal's laughter was a wet, gurgling sound. Several representatives joined him. Of what precisely? Your quaint warships? Your primitive kinetic weapons? We have observed your military capabilities, Admiral. They are adequate for local defense, perhaps. That's your first mistake, Trent said quietly. You observed what we wanted you to observe. The laughter died. Trent took a step forward. For the past 15 years, you've been watching Earth. You've cataloged our ships, analyzed our weapons, studied our tactics. You've concluded that humanity poses no significant threat to the consul's authority. You're considering military action to force our compliance. He paused. Don't. Varintal's optical stalks retracted slightly, an involuntary defensive gesture. You presume much, human. I presume nothing. We intercepted your military planning sessions 6 months ago. The attack fleet is currently assembling in the Kepler system. Trent's casual revelation sent shockwaves through the council. That information was classified at the highest levels. You plan to strike 3 of our outer colonies simultaneously, demonstrating your superiority and forcing Earth into submission. The consul's skin had gone pale. How is irrelevant, Trent continued. What matters is what happens next. You're thinking that even if we know about your fleet, we can't possibly stand against the combined might of the consul's armada. You're thinking that humans are emotional, reckless, and will capitulate when faced with overwhelming force. His voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried to every corner of the chamber. You're wrong. We have conquered 1,400 species, Varintal stated, his confidence returning. We have pacified entire sectors. What makes humanity so special? Trent smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. Most species you've encountered achieved peace before they achieved advanced technology. They developed faster-than-light travel after solving their internal conflicts. They came to the stars unified, peaceful, curious. He paused. Humans didn't. The Admiral activated a holographic display. Images flickered into existence above the council floor. Cities in flames, mushroom clouds rising over barren landscapes, orbital platforms bristling with weapons. Ships designed for one purpose: destruction. We reached for the stars while still fighting each other, Trent continued. We militarized space before we colonized it. We built warships before we built science vessels. Do you understand what that means? Farintal stared at the images, his multiple eyes unable to look away from the systematic devastation displayed before him. It means that every ship in our fleet, every station we've built, every colony we've established was designed with warfare in mind, not as an afterthought, not as a contingency, as the primary function. Trent gestured and the display changed. Those 12 militarized systems you mentioned? They're not military bases, they're weapons platforms, each one capable of sterilizing a planet. You wouldn't dare, the consul whispered. You're right, we wouldn't, not first. Trent's eyes were cold steel. But if your fleet enters our space with hostile intent, if you fire a single shot at a human colony, you won't be fighting a war. You'll be fighting for survival. Because humans learned something during our violent history that you peaceful species never had to learn. When faced with extinction, there are no rules. The chamber was deathly silent. We don't want war, Trent said, his voice softening slightly. We came to the stars hoping to leave our violent past behind. But make no mistake, we brought it with us. Every weapon, every tactic, every horrible lesson learned from 10,000 years of killing each other. We're trying to be better. We're trying to join the galactic community as partners, not conquerors. He looked directly at Varintal. But if you force our hand, if you mistake our desire for peace as weakness, you'll discover why humanity survived long enough to reach the stars in the first place. We're not the strongest species. We're not the smartest. But we are the most stubborn, and we absolutely refuse to go extinct. Admiral Jason Trent turned and walked toward the exit. At the threshold, he paused and looked back. Disband your attack fleet, Consul. Renegotiate our territorial agreements in good faith. Let humanity prove we can be trusted neighbors. His voice hardened. Or test us, and find out why we're the only species that invented the word Pyrrhic victory and considered it acceptable. The doors closed behind him, leaving Consul Varintal staring at the empty space where the human had stood. Around him, the council erupted in panicked debate, but the consul remained silent, his multiple eyes still seeing the images of human warfare, his mind calculating the terrible mathematics of mutual destruction. 3 days later, the attack fleet received stand-down orders. Humanity had delivered its warning and the galaxy had listened.